Hey everybody, it's Aidan here once again, and welcome back to the channel for my first real video of 2019. And this is a video where we once again put on the smooth jazz, make sure things are spelled correctly, and fire the team principle of chat in another episode of my opinions and analysis series, Pressing Issues. Now, unlike my other real-world series Storytime, where things are told exactly as they happened, as much as it is difficult for some people to take it seems, Pressing Issues is all brain to mouth with no filtering mechanism whatsoever. A chance to let loose, shoot the shit, and have a bit of a shout and rant and be a bit Malcolm Tucker-ish.
You get sarcastic with me again, and I will stuff so much cotton wool down your fucking throat it'll come out your ass like the wee tail of a Playboy bunny.
Now, the very first episode of Pressing Issues, back when it was called Hot Laps and Chat, in a vague attempt at coasting on a dead meme, was about how to make F1 great again. Again, coasting off a dead meme. But thinking about it, was it ever great to start off with? Was it really better back in the good old days? Can you hear that? That's the sounds of V10 purists puckering up their arseholes and getting ready to type. Oh, you're treading a fine line now. Oh yeah, this better be good. Make it fucking good, funny man. Now, the inspiration for this video comes as RSS has released the absolutely fantastic Formula V10 mod for Assetto Corsa. Yep, the car sounds fantastic, but it's more the overall driving experience that is the best part. And a steep learning curve, because if you're a serial trailbreaker from driving V8 supercars and modern Formula 1 cars, it's a tough habit to break. Now, depending on how old you are, the good old days can range from any period of the last 79 years. For a man such as myself, who is in his late 20s, that era is going to be the tail end of the 90s and into the early 2000s. Now, I must have drawn the short straw in being born, as the early 2000s must have been the dullest era of the sport's history. But at least the engine sounded good. Now, I'm choosing the late 90s and early 2000s here because that's what most people my age consider to be the good old days. Back when there was one team dominance, one driver winning all the time. But at least the engine sounded good. Now, it's easy to get all misty-eyed about the days of yore. It's as if people saw two highlight reels from the 90s and early 2000s on the F1 Facebook page or on YouTube and think that every race back then was a classic. Spoiler alert, they weren't. One of the favourite amongst the Nostalgia Brigade is a fight between Montoya and Schumacher at Melbourne in 2002. This is how F1 used to be. Listen to those engines. Oh, real drivers, no politics, no team orders, proper battles back then. Not exactly. Schumacher went on to win that race by 18 seconds. Raikkonen was another 7 seconds further back from Montoya. They were also the only 3 cars on the lead lap, and only 8 cars finished that race. Okay, reliability was an issue, and the only thing that really threw a spanner in the works is that Mark Webber in a Minardi finished 5th. But Coulthard, Trulli, Button, Villeneuve, Heidfeld, Barrichello and Ralf Schumacher didn't finish. Had they finished, Webber wouldn't have even made the top 10. Schumacher then went on to win 5 of the 6 opening races, and then had a win in Austria gifted to him by Barrichello. In the 2018 Australian Grand Prix, Vettel won by just 5 seconds. 5 cars retired, and everybody except Brendan Hartley finished on the lead lap. In Bahrain, the gap between first and second was half a second, and in China, Ricciardo won by 8 seconds. Oh, and those cars in 2002 had traction control. We hear about how F1 needs real drivers that don't need driver aids because it's supposed to be only for the best drivers, yet these are the same people that jerk off over cars from 2002. But at least the engine sounded good. Back in the good old days, it was usually the case of the lead driver being miles ahead of the rest of the pack for the majority of the race, and there are figures available to back all of this up. In the past 3 years, the average margin of victory from first to second is around the 9-second mark, the lowest of any period measured. Even back in the golden years of Senna, Prost, Mansell and Patrese. Back then, it was not uncommon for the second place man to finish over half a minute behind. In the 50s, the winner could be upwards of a minute ahead of second place a lot of the time. Probably because everybody had been killed. Okay, there are a lot of variables here and things can get skewed to suit your agenda. Although, I'm trying to be as impartial as it is possible to be in Pressing Issues for a change. Half a minute between first and second. It's not exactly exciting, is it? Now, a common argument is to bring up the fact that back then you would have a Williams on the podium, you'd have a Benetton on the podium, Jordan making a cameo or two, Williams, McLaren and Ferrari winning races. But to be honest, barring a clusterfuck of a start like Spa 1998 or bad luck with reliability, that was all you were going to get. Now it's between Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull. Only the names have changed. But at least back then, the engine sounded good. In 1996, 4 drivers won a race: Hill, Schumacher, Villeneuve and Panis. Okay, Panis was a fluke. In 1997, Villeneuve, Frentzen, Berger, Schumacher, Hakkinen and Coulthard all won races. 6 drivers. Okay, a bit better. In the 2000 season, 4 drivers won races. In 2001, 5. 2002, 4. 2003, 8. 2004, 5. 2005, 5. 2006, 5. 2007, 4. 2008, 7. 2009, 5. 2010, 5. 2011, 5. 2012, 8. Nice. 2013, 5. 2014, 3. And in 2015, there was 3. But in 2016, 4. And in 2017 and 2018, 5. So pretty much the same amount every year, with anomalies, if you can call them that, in 2003, 2008 and 2012. 3 seasons in 19 years. And how many of those could we consider good seasons with more than 2 drivers in with a shot of winning it with classic races? 2003? 2007? 2010? Again, 3 in 19 seasons. But at least the engine sounded good. While we're here, let's have a look at the 90s. In 1990, 6. 91, 5. 92, 5. 93, 4. 94, 4. 95, 5. 96, 4. 97, 6. 98, 4. And 99, 5. But there were so many different winners back then. And only 1997 and 1999 were really properly any good. I mean, 1994 will be remembered, but for all the wrong reasons, and I can't speak for anything before that because I was too young. In the 2000s, an average of 6 drivers made their way onto the podium. In the 90s, it was 7. Today, 6. Only the names have changed. And then we move into the touchy subject of overtaking. There is no other way of putting it, but there is more overtaking today than in the 2000s. But that's because of DRS, I hear you cry. But here's the thing. People were complaining that there wasn't enough overtaking, so DRS was introduced and the aero changed to try and facilitate overtaking. Now we have DRS and people are bitching about fake overtaking. So if we were to remove DRS, there will be complaining of no overtaking. The way I see it, F1 fans can't complain about the FIA and Liberty not knowing what they want, because not even the fans know what they want. Take Bottas and Vettel at Sochi 2017 and Bahrain 2018. On both occasions, the man in second didn't get past the leader. There was no overtake, but it was great to watch. Being on the edge of your seat and thinking, is Vettel going to get past Bottas, or will Bottas get Vettel on the last lap? And I don't see where the whole racing needs constant overtaking to be good mentality came from. I reckon someone somewhere watched IndyCar and went, that's what F1 needs to be like. When the fact of the matter is, F1 will never be like that. Indy and F1 are 2 totally separate things. Nor can every race be one that gets put on a pedestal as something to measure every race by. It's like people want it balanced too far in favour of entertainment, as opposed to sport. For example, a few weeks back Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest drew 5-5. In the summer, West Bromwich Albion beat Queen's Park Rangers 7-1. Do those scorelines happen all the time? No. For every one goal fest there's about 30 ball draws of 0-0 or 1-1. But you don't see FIFA making the goals bigger to allow players to launch it into the top bin from 30 yards every shot they make to please people watching at home. And because of that, Goals like Stevie Gerrard against West Ham in the 2006 FA Cup final, or Andros Townsend against Man City the other weekend, these are remembered and cherished forever, the same way Brazil 2008 will be, for example. In 2018, a total of 1,056 overtakes were made, 600 up on 2017. The totals are on your screen, with the amount of DRS overtakes shown in brackets. At only Barcelona, Paul Ricard and Hockenheim were there more DRS passes than real ones. Alright, most of them were Vettel and Ricciardo on recovery drives or because they started from the back, but only 3 races in 2018 had more so-called fake overtakes than real ones. This also does not take into account pit stops. This is all on-track overtakes, with Monaco being a surprise package. It includes the starts, but only when a complete pass has been made. None of this nose ahead stuff. And as everyone has been saying all week with the Schumacher tributes, you can't argue with stats. Well, if it works for that, it can work for this. But to save you crunching the numbers by yourself, here's the amount of so-called real overtakes per race. Australia, 12. Bahrain, 51. China, 57. Baku, 48. Spain, 8. Monaco, 16. Canada, 13. France, 9. Austria, 48. Silverstone, 41. Hockenheim 36, Hungary 7, Belgium 19, Italy 45, Singapore 14, Russia 24, Japan 65, USA 45, Mexico 28, Brazil 32, 20 for Abu Dhabi. A lot of people will argue it's about the quality of the overtaking rather than the quantity, but using data obtained by the Telegraph, it's still clear that cars are passing with much greater frequency or the same frequency than ever before. Even the Prost and Senna turbo era. Back then, there was an average of 33 overtakes a race. Now there's 39. Adjusted for non-DRS overtakes, in 2018 there was an average of 30 overtakes a race. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see most of them on the telly. Thanks, Liberty. There has always been dominating teams. Lotus, Ferrari, McLaren, Williams, Red Bull, now Mercedes. Same way that the Americans used to be the best sprinters and now it's the Jamaicans, and the Argentinians and Brazilians aren't so good at football anymore. The English, meanwhile, yeah, we've never been any good. F1 fans will never be happy. There's no overtaking, now there's too much fake overtaking, the cars can't follow, now the cars are too slow, now they sound crap, the tyres are too durable, now the tyres disintegrate too quickly, the driver I don't like is too dominant, the silver cars are too quick, the engines sound crap, there's too much money at the top, the engines sound crap. In terms of matching entertainment to sport, the Australians still put on the best show, and Formula 1 can learn a lot from supercars. Formula 1 is now on social media and has a strong meme game, and they can learn from DTM in that on their YouTube channel they throw up every session online for free in German and English. The only thing throwing a spanner in that is the pay TV deals. But maybe they can put up some of the old races where the Nostalgia Brigade can wank off over their precious V10s. Yeah, okay, I've dropped that in a few times this video and it's something that comes up time and time again. I get that sound is part of the enjoyment of the spectacle. It's a sensory thing. As humans, we like noise, we like music, and I went as far as to do a degree in it. It evokes an emotional response. We cry to something like Bridge Over Troubled Water. We'll smile to George Ezra's Shotgun, and a song like Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses gets us pumped up. But the way people go on about the V10s makes it sound like the V10s was the only thing they watched for. So here's a question for you. Would you rather watch every race being like Bahrain 2014 but across the whole field with a V6 hybrid, or would you rather watch the processional 2002 season that had an average of around 12 overtakes a race with a V10? And don't say 2014 with a V10, that's not an option. Vote in the poll above and down in the comments. I've never been one for this "it was better in my day" crap, but that said, WWE was better 20 years ago. The Simpsons was better 20 years ago. Neighbours was better 20 years ago. Formula 1, on the other hand, has pretty much remained the same, from a statistical standpoint at least. But on a competitive front, the cars are closer than they've ever been. They just need that extra push to get that field jumbled up a little bit more. It will be interesting to see what the new 2019 Aero rules bring. One place I can definitely say it's worse than before is the sponsors and lack of them compared to before. Companies don't want to be involved as much as before. Title sponsors are pretty much gone, meaning corporate coloured cars are a thing of the past, unless you're Force India obviously. And that can be due to the pay TV deals or because costs have skyrocketed. I don't know, but maybe that's a topic for another day. So what do you think? Was F1 better in the day? Or do too many F1 fans have rose-tinted glasses on? Let me know in the comments, and of course, vote above in the poll. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and if you want to support the channel in a more personal way, you can do so on Patreon. So until next time, I've been Aidan Millward, and goodbye.